So 2 years ago, there we had the announcement at the Game Awards of 2021 for a studio produced Wonder Woman game. This is being published by WB Games, who's in charge of franchises like Batman, Mortal Kombat, DC Comics in general. It's being developed by some of the developers that worked on the Middle Earth Shadow games, Middle Earth Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War, Lord of the Rings games. Monolith, same developer who worked on those games, is working on this. To date, there has not been any gameplay that's been showcased. The only thing we have, there's been no screenshots. The only thing we have right now is that initial debut trailer, which showcased no gameplay at all. It's just another CGI trailer. Now, Warner Brothers, WB Games, they've been in some hot water recently because of their handling of the Mortal Kombat license, the Mortal Kombat IP. And so things such as NetherRealm Studios and WB Games charging $10 to $12 for fatalities in that game, charging 10 to $12 for announcer voices in the game, putting costumes in their premium store, and basically fear of missing out tactics, forcing those type of business tactic on the player base, and basically just turning all of their games into these live service projects. They also have the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game that's coming out next year. That's going to be a live service game. That game already has had backlash, and it's not even been released yet. A lot of people are concerned about the Wonder Woman game that was announced, and Warner Brothers, WB Games, they're trying to play damage control right now, and they're basically saying that this game is supposed to be a single player. It's an open world game, a single player open world action game featuring an original story. But there was a listing recently. This was reported by WCCF Tech, a job listing for a lead software engineer for the gameplay. The job listing mentioned, in quotations, helping maintain a live software product or game. Now, this can be taken out of context because of the way it's worded. It says live software product. So that could be, that could point to like a live service type of experience. Or it could just be the way it's worded strange in the job listing. But if, let's say Warner Brothers, they're just playing damage control right now, and they're not really saying that this is a live service game, to try and minimize the negative reactions, and stop rumors before they spread. Let's say that's the case, and this game is actually a live service game. My question is, what's going on with WB Games?
Mm.
What do you think?
It is interesting. I thought for a single player game like this, it wouldn't even be brought in at all. But seeing how they mentioned that it still will have live service elements is interesting to me, because I've seen some single player games will incorporate live service, and you actually need to have like your internet still on to be able to even play it. So I'm hoping it's not a route like that, or they're gonna
Well,
insert a whole bunch of microtransactions or anything of that nature.
well, that's what they've done with the last two Mortal Kombat games. Both Mortal Kombat 11 and Mortal Kombat 1 require online connection to the internet to play, to engage with the single player content minus the story mode. Both of them.
That's
And to make matters, worse, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League has, they announced that that game was going to be the same way, that it requires an online internet connection. We don't know if that's still the case now since they delayed it over a year, but I'd imagine it's still the same because they haven't stated otherwise.
That's
Um, Now, you already have people in the comments here that are assuming this game is a live service experience just from this article alone. So you can understand why WB Games would come out with the statement. They told IGN that Wonder Woman is a single-player action-adventure game set in a dynamic open world. This third-person experience will allow the players to become Diana of Themyscira and introduce an original story set in the DC universe while also featuring the Nemesis system, which was the same system from the Middle Earth games. And uh,
yeah.
and Wonder Woman is not being designed as a live service. Now, do you believe that statement, or do you think this is just bullshit?
Most likely could be bullshit. We know how they like to. When release time actually happens, it's a whole different story.
Yeah. I mean, they can only these gaming companies because of the digital age we live in, there are leaks that happen all the time. So they can only keep things if it is a live service game, it'll be made clear immediately as soon as they show the game, gameplay. Um,
Mm.
because even before they showed gameplay for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, you already had screenshots that were leaked online that showed like some of the game's menus and whatnot, and it clearly was a live service game. Now, the problem with this is, I think, and the reason why WB Games is focused more on live service now is their CEO, David Zaslav, who's in charge of WB Warner Brothers Discovery. He said that the company is transforming, their biggest franchises largely from console and PC base with 3 to 4 year release schedules to include more always on gameplay through live services, multi-platform, and free-to-play extensions, with the goal to have more players spending more time on more platforms. See, this is the biggest problem with live service in general. Game developers and publishers trying to force their audience to engage with these products beyond what the average person actually wants to commit time to.
Yeah.
That's how we get games that aren't good and that are garbage, like Square Enix's Avengers game. That's the perfect example right there. But that's not the only example. We also had EA's Anthem. They don't even talk about that game anymore. That was supposed to be like the next big thing. Before Anthem came out, everyone was treating that game like it was the second coming. But as soon as they announced that it was going to be a live service, I made a video and I stated on my channel, this is going to be garbage. It's going to be bullshit because it's live service. But nah, people clicked on my channel. I had a bunch of trolls downvote that video to hell. And what happened when the game came out? Everyone was talking about how much of a piece of shit it was, how much of a disappointment it was. It was so bad that EA, I think it was after the game came out. They were planning on rebooting the game, like redoing a lot of the development and what have you. But they eventually just canceled it, and the game just died. So
Mm.
Anthem's another perfect example. Square Enix's Babylon's Fall. That game died within the first few months of its release. It was officially discontinued, like they stopped printing copies before the year even ended. That was last year. That was a live service game. That was supposed to be like this big thing where they were trying to force people to spend a bunch of money and shit. That game died. So you have all these different examples and whatnot. Gamers clearly don't like live service games, but these companies keep trying to force the shit down people's throats. Another great example that came out just this year is Diablo 4. If you look at Diablo 4's reception, I mean, look at the stark difference between the critic score and the user score.
Hmm.
people don't like live service games. Why do these companies keep doing this shit to themselves? They're like shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah, it's like this CEO, for example. He's out of the touch of what gamers really want or what the average players really like. He's just still focused on the actual profit they're going to make.
That's it. They just care about money and nothing else. But they don't realize it's like they're not getting that if you focus on making a good single player game, people are going to invest into the product, and your game's not going to die within a few months. Perfect example that just came out this year. Marvel Spider-Man 2. It's a single player game, it's a quick game, in and out, around 17 hours for the main story, under 30 hours for, the rest of the content, but it has universal acclaim with critics and fans as well. It's now a Game of the Year nominee. If they had put live service elements in Spider-Man 2, would it be anywhere near as good as it is? You know,
Mm-hmm.
Follow the good examples instead of the bad ones. That's really my message, to these people that are in charge of these franchises. I guarantee if this game is a live service game, it's going to be dead in the water. They're going to kill it before it even has a chance to get off the ground. There is a great opportunity for a Wonder Woman game. There's a lot that they can do with a Wonder Woman game, and they're saying this is an open world game too. So it's not a linear experience. And I was wondering if it was going to be like a linear thing or if they were going to go open world with it, but apparently, they did confirm that with this statement. It's a single player action adventure game set in a dynamic open world. If that's the statement that they released to IGN, then that better be what this game is. But yeah, man, WB Games, David Zaslav, someone needs to, talk to him and tell him like, look, this live service shit isn't working. We're not gonna engage players by following this trend. Even Sony, they canceled Sony has like 12 different live service games, exclusive games for the PlayStation 5 that's in development, and they've halted development on like six of them. I think
Dang.
I think that was a story that came out. Yeah, so this was this new Bungie game, Marathon. Apparently, that's going to be a live service game, but now it's being pushed back. I think these companies are, they really need to reevaluate what they're doing because, I've said it privately, but I'm saying it publicly now. Live service will kill video games. It will kill the entire industry if it becomes mainstream. Gamers, we've already, because of casuals and also hardcore fans, we now have microtransactions, which is a mainstay. We got shady DLC practices, that's a mainstay. We have a bunch of remasters games that you've already bought that are being re-released again. That's a mainstay. Things that trends that haven't really done the industry any good. Live service will be the final nail in the coffin if it becomes mainstream. So gamers definitely need to speak up, out against this because I was looking in the comments on the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League gameplay footage that just came out recently, and you had people in the comments trying to, some people in the comments trying to defend that game. Oh, the game's not out yet. You haven't even played it. I guess you're from the future, you know.
Typical excuse.
Yeah, they're just bullshit. And you had sensible people in the comments saying we don't have to fucking play the game. We've seen enough of this trash to know what it is. Don't fall for this bullshit. They better not make this game a live service experience because it's gonna kill it dead. But before it even launches, it's gonna kill it. Yeah, I hope that that's not the case, and this is a true single player game, without any type of microtransactions or anything of that nature. But yeah, that's the story. Do you have any other thoughts?
No, it's just sad to see that this is the case. You already have people complaining like this to them, and if it's a different story on release, it's just going to be sad to see that that they're still doing the same thing that they've been doing with the Mortal Kombat games, as you've been saying.
Yeah. And people have spoken up against Mortal Kombat 1. A lot of people can't stand that game because of, what they've done to that franchise, and it would be a shame if they continue down this road with DC Comics, because I'm sure you remember Gotham Knights that came out last year.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that was some fucking trash, dude. And that wasn't like a full-on live service game, but it had some live service elements. Because I think that initially they were trying to make it a live service game, but they didn't fully commit to making it one. But enough damage was done to where it's like, yeah, yeah, y'all fucked up. Yeah, hopefully someone talks some sense into this CEO, because like I said, live service it'll destroy the gaming industry if it becomes mainstream.